Not sure what the heck just happened there. A little bit of a is somebody
what? I'm 6'5" and actually played baseball. The fact that I went to college and got a degree and worked hard might be lost on you. I don't play backgammon, but I do play chess. I could also twist you like a pretzel.
Did you guys were you catching that? I had the YouTube open. I had the stream open.
I don't hear anything of that.
I was getting some crazy trippy back audio there. Really trippy.
Great radio here. Great radio here. The Baltimore Orioles defeat the Washington Nationals 7-6. Did you dummies really think? Did you really think that the Nationals were going to break the streak? 103 games without being swept? You thought the Nationals were going to do it? Not tonight, buddy. Not tonight. Not on my watch. Not on Albert Suarez's watch. Not on Anthony Santander's watch. Not on, maybe on Ryan McKenna's watch. Maybe on Ryan McKenna's watch. But boys, what a fucking drunken mess this game was. I need a beer after that. I have high blood pressure. I think I'm a bit of a softie now. That game, Eric, you have I need a new hobby here. What is the state of your being in existence right now?
I mean, they got the win, and that's obviously what matters. You got to keep pace with the Yankees right now, and these are series you have to win. With Bradish and Burns going, you have to win. You have to win these games. Yes, Ben C 6'5". He also actually played baseball. He went to college, got a degree, and worked hard. It might be lost on you, but he doesn't play backgammon, but he does play chess. He could also twist you into a pretzel. This was, again, including this win, I think it was a pretty pathetic outing from the Orioles. It was the offense in game one, bullpen in game two. Starting pitching was fine in both games. That was great. Again, Corbin Burns was good yesterday. Some people say he's not good enough and they want to trade him already. I thought Bradish was awesome tonight. I was perfectly fine with Hyde taking him out when he did too. He's at 90 pitches. His UCL is probably partially torn. That's okay. He doesn't have to go 100. But not even the bullpen. I think it's unfair to say the bullpen. It's Craig Kimbrell. It's Craig Kimbrell, who is
bullpen's been lights out. The bullpen's been absolutely nails for over a week.
And the one blemish is it's Craig Kimbrell, the $13 million man. And I'm reading these from Andy Koska's Twitter feed. Craig Kimbrell has failed to complete the 9th inning in 4 of his last 5 appearances. 3 of those resulted in blown saves. 6 runs off Kimbrell in his last 2 2/3 inning. You could tell from the very first pitch that was high and inside that we were going to get Kimbrell tonight. And they have a tough they got a tough decision.
It was not high and inside. It was wildly high and inside.
It was almost at him. It wasn't like
not even in the stratosphere.
No, it wasn't like a get off my plate. It was like I don't know where this is going. Again, Benny, we talked about it in the chat. I think he is hurt. I think, you have enough to put him on the IL if needed. Said last week his back hurt, put him on the IL. Just get him out of here. Get the bad juju, get the bad vibes, get everything. Cut his goddamn ponytail. You can't have a ponytail like that if you're blowing games. You can't. But again, they got the win. You tried to move on, but something has to be done about Kimbrell, and I think pretty soon.
Mike Franz here, and I'll pass it to you, Jake. But Mike Franz here, my Phillies fan wife tried to warn me, and I laughed her off. Now she's the one laughing. Every Phillies fan friend that I have been a dick to. I have been like, you don't know ball. He's fine. Oh, he'll be fine. He is not fine. And I think the number one thing that stands out to me with him is that his bread and butter was the high heater. It felt like when he was rolling early on, able to get those whiffs above the zone, and it's just not there. Dude does not look like it. Needs to go on the IL, let alone should not be the closer for the Orioles. Mega tough scene for Uncle Craig here, Jake.
You guys have no idea, how excited I was to finally be able to take the picture again. I was lining it up. I was getting my, I had my thermos. It was right there. It was right there. It was right the fuck there. And then, I just took a dejected selfie and shot it out into the ether there. That might make another appearance if Craig makes another appearance here sometime soon. He's completely lost. He's the one who is now puttering and billowing. Shout out to Mike Bauman. Just out there in the doldrums, can't get anything going. Just whipping at the sails, but he's not getting anything. And it's you're right. Mechanically, feels like it was that high heat. It feels like it was, just going right at guys. And now it feels like everything is just out and away and leaking on him and down to the left side of that zone. And, no one's chasing because they know, like, no one's taking the cheese here. Like I think everyone kind of knows the score right now. Craig Kimbrell probably more than anyone, because when he walked that second guy and he slammed his fist into the mound, I was like, okay, like this is really bad. I have not seen, you don't see that a lot from relievers generally, because they kind of tend to just be flatline type dudes. And I think Craig generally is that kind of guy. That was one of the more expressive bursts of emotion, not in a good way, that I've seen from a closer in a while. I think this experiment is done for the time being.
Jake, I want to follow that up. I noticed that too, and I immediately was like, that is something you cannot have from a closer or a pitcher of any. You can't have that. Like, again, that's a high school thing. Like, that is, you cannot be slamming your hand on the mound as a major league pitcher and watch. The whole dog saw that and was like, yeah, we got this guy. Like, this is over. So, yeah. That was a great.
You will see it from batters. We saw a lot of it from tonight, a couple from the Orioles, and then one from Jesse Winker, the disgrace that he is. He struck out, flung his bat to the ground and had an audible fuck or something to that effect as he was walking off. So, yeah, a lot of frustrations running through this game. Long game. I kind of started out. I was actually out cutting the grass earlier, so I listened to the first couple innings with Melanie and Ben. And it kind of had the feeling of the one from last night, where it was a little bit slow to start. The bats weren't really doing a ton. And then, ultimately the Orioles kind of started to get things going with their offense. And it felt like maybe they were going to cruise away with one here, but I don't know, man. Like, in these stretches where the bats go quiet, it just turns all the attention to the bullpen. And like you guys said, the bullpen probably writ large, you can pretty much have confidence that, they're going to be okay. But the problem is the most important guy in the bullpen is the guy who's going to close the game out. And yeah, like you said, Eric, Uncle Craig feels like he might be Cousin Craig now. He might be demoted, and he needs to go get his mind right.
And I don't want to harp on Craig too much. There's a lot of awesome things that the Orioles did in this game. But like you said, Eric, just the one sole thing was that, holy shit, Craig Kimbrell almost blew a game where the Orioles did everything else right. They dug down Tony Santander, Tony Potatoes, muscles one out, ties the game, kind of broke the seal, got the homer hose going, felt like it got the energy into the bats. Gunnar and his home run with the hilarious situation that happened there with Rosario in right field. The Orioles had a 66.7 win percentage there after that home run. Lipscomb grounds into a double play following that. I think Gunnar turned like 11 double plays in the final 5 innings. It was turning into like a wild double play ordeal. Winker then grounds into another double play in the 8th, down to 7% win probability. Even with Rosario's home run to make it 3-2, MLB with 2 outs had the Nationals after that with a 4.4% win probability. And then it was just perpetually CJ Abrams over and over again, it felt like, with runners in scoring position over and over and over. And of course, it's the 3-hitter. Of course, it's their young superstar who's emerging this season over and over and over. And he came through in the clutch time and time again there. I mean, the Tony Taters catch following the home run in this game. We're going to do the Clipper City tide turning play. I don't know which one to go to. There's 15, let alone Ryan Mountcastle gets his 2 for 2 off of his old roommate with 2 home runs. And he's just smiling. He's just fucking has a shit-eating grin looking at Hunter Harvey on the mound, and then just goes yaya on him like it was nothing. And then Hunter Harvey just beams Tony after that. I mean, this game from an entertainment standpoint, if you were like a neutral fan, this was the most entertaining game possible. As an Orioles fan, as a Nationals fan, your heart is through your chest. This is like, especially for the Orioles fan, it feels like, with the streak and everything. So, I mean, the full array of emotions all the way through. I mean, Jorge Mateo's insane stuff that happens. Luis Garcia, of course, doubles over Ryan McKenna's head. Of course, the Nationals drove in a run and had a chance to go win this game, and Jacob Webb was able to get out of it. But I mean, what the hell? Like, I don't even know how to process this game.
Rosario staring down that Gunnar bomb, which was like nuclear, just like fired out of F.E. Warren Air Force Base out into the Pacific somewhere. And like, he's just standing there as if it's just a can of corn. And then just an amazing screen cap of him just aghast, just taken aback at the fact that was a home run somehow. The Nats cameras were fooled by him. I was watching their feed, so I was confused as well. But it was such a no-doubter. Gunnar did his Maximus pose, because I was like, yeah, that thing's gone. Then I was confused for a second. Then it was gone. And then Rosario comes back and he blasts the game-tying shot there. It was the Rosario coaster. That was like the 4th or 5th weirdest thing to happen in this game. Those two things together.
just weird series all around. It's bizarre. I don't know. You had the Mateo play in extra innings where they were just throwing that ball all around. I hope he's okay. I know Hyde just talked. I have it on mute here, but just a weird game. Like I said, Tony, I think Spenny, you mentioned it. Tony's kind of made that his copyright catch now. He loves like catching, kind of stumbling, and then he goes into a slide. He does that maybe like once every other week or something. Yeah,
he maximizes his athleticism. He has a strong arm, and he's like a sturdy dude, and he has power.
He's big, he's strong.
So big.
He expels none of his athleticism on the base pads, like zero, and saves it all for the field. Like saves it all. He maximizes every gram, every millimeter of athleticism that he has, every nanometer of athleticism in the field. He is, and it's just hilarious because then you go watch Ryan McKenna go play right field. And to be fair, Tony did get plunked with one in the thigh, and that might have been why they pull him. Plus base runner McKenna, seven goof pickles tonight in like 3 innings. Just unbelievable. But yeah, Tony just able to continuously make these plays that it looks like he's incapable of making so consistently. There must be like a wide receiver in the NFL that's like that just makes silly catches always awkwardly or something. I don't know. But Tony consistently.
It's Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson, yeah, sure. But he doesn't goof pick. Tony doesn't really goof pickle that hard, though.
No.
Like he keeps it pretty reined in.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't fuck up in the way that Deontay Johnson does. But
he scores way more than Deontay Johnson. Way more than Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Tony,
so I don't know. Tony was awesome. And then, Jorge Mateo, we can do dogs of the 2-game series, I suppose. I'll start it off. I'm going to go, a lot of guys deserve this, but I'm going to go Jorge Mateo off the top for me, laying down the bunt.
Yep.
Had an awkward swing against a righty. I've been talking like, oh, the at bats look good again. Like he doesn't, even when he's striking out or whatever it is, like it's not these uncompetitive at bats. Had one of those where it was like, oh, he took a brutal one. Hopefully that doesn't snowball. No, it comes right back. The at bat that he had, fouling off, bunting, then cracking one again for a second time there to go through, has the wherewithal to go to second, has the wherewithal to go to third, and then get driven in. I think that this could be pitching staff, anyone, but I love what Jorge Mateo did. Mi Hermano, I have a soft spot for him. I don't know what it is. I just love that dude. He's so talented, and you kind of feel for him as this like highly touted prospect that flamed out, and then he's reemerging with the Orioles.
You built him up in your mind so much in the last couple of years. Like I think you're the only person on earth who thinks about him this way, other than the actual Mi Hermano guy.
I agree with that. I think I'm number 2 to Mi Hermano on Jorge Mateo. I was so sad last year. And he's even at his worst, he's a great super utility player. But Jackson Holiday comes up, going to take pretty much, almost every day second base responsibilities. That will be the long-term plan, lo and behold. But seeing Jorge Mateo just kind of keep his nose to the grindstone there. He never says a word. He always has a positive attitude. He always plays hard. He always brings excitement, energy. It feels like he's willing to freaking be a bullpen catcher if you need him to for this team and clean the floors, do whatever you need him to do. But awesome tonight, and obviously makes a huge play late. So dog of the series for me, I'm going to go with Jorge Mateo, who ends up effectively kind of sort of being the one to keep this streak alive.
Definitely. I'm going to go with my guy, Big Bert Suarez. It just feels
Big Balls Bert.
Yeah, Big Balls Bird. I think Glenn was talking about his whiff rate. He's just throwing them in there really fast, really hard. Like guys are probably not expecting much out of him because, he's a guy who's bounced around a ton, obviously. And if you're the Nationals and you don't see the Orioles a lot, maybe you're not really expecting to even maybe see him in the series. But he kind of comes in and saves this one a little bit. I know he gave up a few there, but you go 2 innings, you throw a good amount of pitches for a reliever. And he's probably a little bit of whiplash being moved down to that reliever role now. And versatility in that respect. And he, like I said, he really came in and steadied the ship here. It had to have been tough. Like nobody was warming up for Kimbrell. That's another thing that we can't miss. Like they weren't even expecting to have to do that. Maybe they should have been. I think the results say that they should have, but ultimately he goes in there and he saves the day in this one and he keeps the streak alive. So I'll go with Big Bird. He looks like he's going to be an asset here, which is nice.
Big pickup for me in fantasy. He's a fun pickup to have. I like him.
Who else you got on your team? I don't give a fuck.
Cowser, Juan Soto.
You don't care. Yeah.
Spencer Steer. So that's a nice little outfield there. Steer,
That's
Cowser,
what they used to call, that's what they used to call Spenny back in the day.
I've been known to steer from time to time. I also have him on my fantasy team. He's a great super utility. He's got first,
What
second,
did you
third,
say-
short, and outfield eligibility.
I
I
guess.
you
took
say
him in like the
they-
5th round because of that.
They had steers and what? What was that thing you found that they used to?
Oh,
You were-
pish posh. While we've got you here, we would love to see you subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. And also, Eric, I saw was nominated as well today for Best of Baltimore, I believe, columnist. Exit 52 podcast has been nominated for best. Yeah, you're in there now, I think. Best local podcast.
Columnist.
A bunch of Taylor was nominated for best columnist too, I think, as well. I'm nominated for a couple things. Exit 52. We got to get Jake in there. Go write Jake in some of these categories too. Most handsome special boy and best producer and best Craig Kimbrell impersonator, everything there. So would love to have you guys go vote. You can go check out Baltimore Magazine, Baltimore's Best of 2024. We'd love to have you there. We'd love to see you subscribe to YouTube ultimately as well. That's how the easiest, quickest way to support us is if you can come watch us on YouTube as opposed to something else. We would prefer that. If you can't, that's cool too. But yeah, awesome. I mean, I'm just excited, guys. I was going to be pissed. It was going to suck. This Orioles sweep streak, it's 103 freaking series. It's since Adley was called up. It's like this special, that's our special boy thing with Adley. Like, he was the first to come up. He's our special little boy. He was the #1 pick. He was supposed to get everything started again. I don't want to see the special boy streak end to the Nationals down the road on a freaking Wednesday night on a fucking 2-game series. I didn't want any part of that. I don't want to see that at all as a fan. So it was awesome they were able to keep this going.
By the way, people were like, "Oh yeah, like who cares about the streak?" And I'm like, I care because it means
Baseball is a freaking stat sport.
I love the
winning.
I love the people who I love the people who make a point to like go out of their way and mention the Rangers series too. It's like we know it's a regular season thing. Like we don't have to do that.
But again, they're like, who cares? And it's like, it means they win a game. So I want it to happen. I want it to keep. Why would you not want it to keep going? Like that means it's win.
Fun. It's a fun thing.
But that's anyway. Neither here nor there. But I was gonna either take. I thought you were gonna take one of these two, so I had another guy. I was gonna take Albert if you didn't, but we're going Ryan Mountcastle, who again
he's big, he's strong.
He's very big and strong. I think he is the most consistent Oriole this year. I think he is just consistently all year because we've seen ice cold streaks out of Gunnar. We've seen, cold streaks out of Adley. But Mountcastle's hitting 277 with an 809 OPS and 6 home runs. Like he's just consistently been a very good player this year. And defense, I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. I've already said I think he should be a Gold Glover. He's like quietly putting together an all-star campaign. I want him in the dirt. I think that would be fun too. But it seems like he's just coming up with a lot of these big-time hits. And again, none bigger than tonight than the home run off of his best friend, former roommate, the person whose house he is at right now. Like they're together right now. And so I can only imagine what that conversation is going to be like. I know it was nice that he at least waited to smile until the end of the run, not like the first time he got Hunter when it was a little less, the game didn't mean as much. But I think he waited till he got past home plate. So good for him. But again, I mean, the ball's on Mountie to just to hit that ball. And again, the way he's playing all year. And I mean, again, he kind of gave them that spark in extra inning, looking bleak. So shout out to Mountie again, just awesome this year with the bat defense. He didn't do anything with this series, but every series, it seems like he's making one diving play with his glove and just showing how good of a player he's turned into. So big fan of number 6. Awesome to see him do well.
Come on the pod, Mountie.
I feel like he would be one of the low key most fun people. I feel like he also doesn't do a ton of appearances and stuff because he's not like the cool young one, and he hasn't been quite as successful as like Seti has at times. He's not like he's kind of not like his story's not shiny like some of the other players are, but he's so fucking good.
He's the most undervalued Oriole, I think. You can say underrated, undervalued, whatever. He's quietly the glue that really keeps them together. So I'm like,
I think clubhouse wise, even clubhouse wise, you can tell that everybody gravitates towards him. The younger guys all kind of look up to him, and he sets the tone as well. So Yeah, we got some comments here. Why not have Cano be the closer at this point? It feels like that has been such a low-hanging fruit for the last, like, I don't know, 8 to 10 days. And there's just this weird refusal to put him in that role. I don't know what it is. And, like, I do get that Kimbrell is the guy who's, he's passed, what is he, up to 426 saves now? He's passed a couple guys. They're never gonna have him be a setup guy. He's trying to etch as many notches on his bedpost as he can to get into the Hall of Fame or whatever. I don't know. And, you can say what you want about the guy based on that. But at this point, Kimbrell cannot pitch again. He has to go on the IL. Go take a nice sabbatical, figure out whatever's hurting, your back, your legs, your hips, your shoulder, your elbow, whatever the hell's going on.
Your neck.
Figure it out without him.
I agree with what you're saying for the most part. But here's the thing. I know he's getting paid $13 million. He's getting paid like a closer, but he's been a setup guy in the past. He was not before the Phillies and all that. And when he was bouncing around with the Cubs and the White Sox, like, he wasn't always closing. I don't think. I think he was coming out in the 7th or 8th inning. I could be wrong. I thought I remember like on Dodger games and, he was in like the 7th inning. So he's had to do it before. And I get what you're saying about, he's a veteran. He's obviously getting close to retiring. They're going to let him get, as close as he can to this record. But at some point, either he has to realize it. Again, he's been in the league with 13 years, 15 years, something like that. He's got to realize this is a team that's trying to win a World Series. They're trying to win the hardest division in sports, trying to win 100 games for the second year in a row. If it's not best for the team, for him to be closing, he has to accept a lesser role. And if he can't, then I think you pay him his money. And again, I'm not saying that this is happening or like whatever, but I think he's good enough to know that. So I would hope that. So it's a tough, again,
like you said, he is a guy that's been there and done that. I feel like it's just tough. He wants to go get his little saves or whatever. I'm sure he probably will, but it's like, it's almost to the point where you can't be the closer. Like, he's going to either be the closer or not in the pen. Yep. Like, if he's not good enough to pitch, he can't be in the pen. Like, I just don't feel like there's, he's good enough to pitch the 7th, but not the 9th with him specifically because of experience. Plus, he's a freaking walking. I mean, there's tons of guys like this. Felix Bautista is the same way, who I missed so dearly, of course, but he's a walking stolen base. Tonight, we saw it. It's a joke. Like, and I don't know. I don't like that in the 7th. And the 9th, I feel like it's a little different, whatever, but I don't know. I feel like there's just not, if it's not closer, I feel like he can't even pitch. Like, he's either good enough to go, and then that puts him in the 9th, or he's not. And I don't know. I mean, he did blow up in the playoffs last year. He is losing velocity over time. And I don't know. I've definitely got egg on my face. I thought it was a great signing. I was like, he could sneakily be an all-star. That was my prediction. I was like, I think he could low-key have, 15, 20, 25 saves going into the all-star break this year and end up doing it because the Orioles win so many games and do have good defense behind him, but definitely not going to be the case. And it's definitely an issue. And I think really, other than that, the Orioles bats have been pretty quiet. They broke out later in the game tonight, but that's really feels like the only real sore spot over the last 10 games or so. And it's nice to take these, we do these series recaps. It's nice to look at 10 game stretches or so to give a breakdown. That's really it. I mean, pitching, the starting rotation's been aces, nails, whatever you want to say about them. They've been able to play some small ball, hit some home runs. They've been able to go have big games offensively to go like win series. But Craig Kimbrell has just been doggy poo-poo and can't have it anymore.
So I'm just kind of checking Twitter and seeing everything. This is from Jake Rill. Orioles manager Brandon Hyde said the team is sticking with Craig Kimbrell at closer, cited his track record, said they need to get him right. We need to get him right. He's going to eventually make a trip to the IL, Is that
what they're saying tonight? Did you see the look on Hyde's face when they were like calling to the bullpen to get Kimbrell out? He is not having fun. I mean, Kimbrell's their, effectively highest paid player, more or less. And clearly they want to get the guy's saves. They want him to be the closer. They want to have, a fill in to the big shoes Felix Bautista left. But the panic in Brandon Hyde's eyes, I think, speaks volumes of that statement. And he's just going to have his guys back. I mean, words to the media and words to fans mean nothing at the end of the day. We want more, but I don't know. He can't. If they trot him out again, it's It's fucking insane. And I will say the one thing that did piss me off, and we texted about it in the group as the game was going on, was not intentionally walking CJ Abrams in, I think, the 11th there.
I don't
what are we doing? Or maybe that was the 12th.
I think it was the 11th. I think.
Yeah, it was the 11th. It was a fly out on a 3-2 count with 2 outs. That's what it was in the 11th. What are we doing? Why would you not just load the bases? Simple shit. That's little league shit, I feel like.
Yeah,
that's simple. So I didn't like that at all. I don't know. People, the bullpen stuff, game decisions, defensive substitutions. I get it. People want to complain about it. It happens on a day-to-day basis. You like to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're professionals. There's been a lot of people kind of hooting and hollering, and I'll give it to you. Tonight was not a pretty one in terms of McKenna, in terms of Kimbrell going out there. Eric, I know you were a little like, what the hell's going on about freaking pulling Cano a little bit early and not letting him go 7th, 8th when you have an off day tomorrow and he hasn't exactly been banged up a ton. So I don't know. It's been a little bit of a tough go, but again, the Orioles keep figuring out a way to win. Kind of
I am back, baby. What's that skit? What's he talking about? My Wi-Fi goes out literally every night at like the same time. I don't know what it is.
I've had that happen before.
I'll be watching Max. I've been watching a lot of Veep lately, and it craps out every time, same night.
Tough.
These late night pods are gonna kill me.
You've talked about it a couple times, Spenny, but McKenna tonight again. If you're fighting to keep your roster spot and not be DFA'd, you can't get thrown out. You can't. I mean, when he caught that ball in right field, and he caught it was a shallow fly ball, and he catches it, and he kind of like pump faked, like he didn't think the guy was going to go. My brother, there's now 2 outs. Like that's the tying run on third. You got to get it in there, and then he makes a horrible throw. I mean, I
get it was a base running decision, but like the outfield stuff is just what kills me about it. Like Spenny, you tweeted about how at me about how Santander took that fastball off the thigh. Like I get it, like you had to take him out, but like going to McKenna, it's just like I don't even want him on this team anymore. Like I don't want him to even be an option. Like find someone else.
I love that. Last year I thought he got a little bit tough of a rap, but this year he's been, and he has the home runs, whatever, but he has been so sketchy out there. Even late that double.
He's a major league level talent to an extent, and those guys are going to luck into a home run here and there. It's just like
reminds me of like Miles Boykin. Like he checks all the boxes athletically.
You know what my brother said? He's Prochet.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
he's really any Ravens mid-round receiver.
He's a Charlie Brown-esque character. Like he's James
Tylan Wallace. He's Tylan Wallace.
No, Tylan Wallace actually, like he had the walk-off.
So did McKenna last year.
No,
exactly.
He also
walk off. They did the same thing.
We're not going to forget about him fumbling in front of the end zone because the Ravens lost that game this year for the Browns. We're not going to forget.
McKenna did that. McKenna did. He did that.
And that's what I'm saying.
In Boston.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So I mean, yeah, McKenna has been. It's just funny because he's kind of raking at the plate at the same time, but being a fucking idiot in the outfield. He's been so stupid in the outfield. The path he took. I mean, and God, lo and behold, I know it's tough. I know this. I know I'm a NARP whatever in comparison to Ryan McKenna. But what the fuck are you doing on that double out there at late in the game? What the fuck? That route even was terrible that he took, and the ball skipping around back there could have got stuck back there, and then all of a sudden somebody that very easily could have gotten way worse than it even did. If there was a better base runner, could have fucking rounded third and come home even. Like it was an embarrassment of issues there. And I don't know. Yeah.
By the way, you want to know the funny thing about this whole thing? The Orioles are still the best team in the AL. They are 7-3 in their last 10. The run differential is plus 53. The Yankees have really gained some ground in that run differential spot because playing the Astros, and they've been smoking the Astros. So Yankees are now plus 54, but again, a plus 53 run differential, 15-6 against teams 500 or above. So
yeah, I feel like the last couple of days, like every 5 tweets has been a Sarah Lang's tweet about how Soto just did something insane. I'm just, yeah.
Also on my fantasy team, so it's it's been a great week in that aspect. But
who's on my fantasy team is Gunnar Henderson, who it wouldn't be me being on the series recap if I didn't lick his boots a little bit here. Gunnar, I mean, the home run, has the infield single. He's, on second base, running hard, coming home late in extra innings.
Double plays.
Exactly, turn double plays. And I have a ton of Yankees fan friends from college, from Towson, a bunch of New York, New Jersey kids from there. And they're like, Soto MVP, this, that, the other. Fuck Gunnar. Oh, his OPS is. And I'm like, by the way, you realize they're like, oh, Soto has more RBIs. Soto has this. I'm like, you realize Gunner's batting leadoff and plays like an awesome shortstop, and Soto's corner outfield. Like, you might want to take that into consideration a little bit. But I think that's gonna be an awesome race. Those two, and there's someone else is wedged in there in the AL, odds wise.
What do you mean?
Right around those two. There's someone wedged in there. I'll look it up. But we have a comment here and do want to talk about David Rubenstein will be Mr. Splash on Friday. Rubenstein will be the assistant to Mr. Splash, the commercials there. Going to be a ton of fun there as the Diamondbacks come to town. I'll be in attendance Sunday for Mother's Day, I believe. I have a wedding this weekend, but D-backs coming to town. D-backs have some fun talent. They have a weird crew there, but how are we feeling about this weekend at the Yard, Eric?
It's going to be fun. Corbin Carroll, by the way, awful this year. I mean, god awful. Like, he is very
since that injury last year in the second half. Like
his shoulder is not right. But that looks bad. I'm excited. I'll be there Friday. Again, not mad, but disappointed at none of you guys in the group chat for being able to go. But it's whatever.
I got to go see Apes. I have to see it.
Oh my! You're missing the Orioles for.
I already made the agreement with my friends. We're going to see it. Yeah, I mean, as a Jurassic Park guy, this feels like it's kind of it might not be in the neighborhood, but it's in the zip code.
I don't know.
Apes alone, weak. Apes together, strong. Ape shall not kill ape.
It was a freaking ape tonight was Kyle Bradish, man. I feel like we didn't give him enough love.
He deserved that win. Like, in the 7th inning, I'm tweeting like, go get this man some runs, because that's a guy who just pitched his balls off. Like, I was listening in the car on the ride home, and it sounded like, Brett was like, he's throwing a lot of balls, like a lot of pitches, and first inning he kind of labored, and
a lot of the curveball, a lot of the slider, really spinning those things too.
And that they were like, you can tell he doesn't have it, but like he's really giving it his all. And then he really tightened up the layer he got. And he's showing his emotion after his strikeouts. Like he was getting like pumped up, I think, when he struck out the side, and I guess the 6th. So that was great to see.
It felt like there was a snap, and suddenly the slider and the breaking balls just started catching. He found it, and they just started snapping. And they were borderline unhittable. The Nationals closer threw one of the most. Oh, it was against Cowser, I think, in the 10th. The splitter that Flanagan threw in the 10th on like that 9-pitch at bat was so disgusting.
He's very good.
So disgusting. So filthy. Cowser had a very awesome night too. We didn't talk about him much. He's been slumping hard over the last 2 weeks here, but hits that double. Westberg, that play at the plate. We didn't even talk about that as well. Like that unbelievable throw from CJ Abrams. So many crazy things. We've been talking about it for a half hour. We still can't cover everything. It's insane. One of the most entertaining baseball games I've seen this year by far.
Andrew Teich bringing up the City Connect curse. I mean, we talk about streaks. This thing just continues to bog them down, and a lot of.
I did see that the Marlins launched their. I think maybe it was Jacob Calvin Meyer tweeted it. The Marlins launched their City Connect last week and have more wins in it than the Orioles have in their City Connect. The Rays. Yeah, you're right, Eric. The Rays have more wins than the Orioles do. The Orioles launched theirs obviously last year in like May or June, and the Rays launched theirs last week. So, yeah, the City Connects have just been brutal. And it sucks. I love the way they look. People rip on that. I think they look really cool.
I was with the Rays fan over the weekend who was I think he was kind of lukewarm on them. I was like, no, I like those. They I was talking about this over maybe like yesterday, I think it was this morning. Like, the City Connect stuff, it's so weird because they take themselves so seriously. Like, if they would just like take a minor league approach and like try to have some fun with it, I'd be way more in on them. But it's like, no, we gotta like.
That's what the Rays did. They've got like a Ray skateboarding on it.
That kind of reminds me of that's like a Trash Pandas vibe almost. I like that. Like, do something like that.
Scott Simpson with a good point here. Austin Hayes, back-to-back nights with home runs. Hopefully he can get cooking a little bit. Such a slow start. He's out, and then the Orioles will have the platoon going. Maybe Tony needs a little breather here. It feels like he's been ice road trucking for quite some time in the outfield and not maybe getting He used to get the DH a lot more too, and he really hasn't had the opportunity to as much because of O'Hearn, who O'Hearn's walk tonight too was just hysterical. Of course he was going to walk. Awesome. Of course they weren't going to give him a pitch to hit. He's literally the best hitter in baseball. Him, Shohei, and Juan Soto have like the best stable metrics in baseball right now. So that was pretty funny here too.
The Donna Kelsey jersey. Do we think that was Santander and Winker? So you could just save money and just do Santander. What do we think of those? Not. What just an unhinged collection of human beings there. Who is doing that?
There's a couple things that I won't repeat on air, but I've tweeted some bad stuff about those two, like really bad. Like people would judge the hell out of me. So I'm not going to say it, but
I have some friends that are kind of. I have some friends that are 1 foot in Nats fans, Orioles fans, and
I do too. But they would never wear that.
No, exactly. That is disgusting.
No,
just pathetic.
You can't.
Just absolutely pathetic.
You can't do that. You can't do that and be taken seriously.
You guys have met the Sizzler. He was in the house tonight. He was bemoaning the lack of beer sales after the 8th inning because he stayed for the full thing. Hate that for him.
Who is this?
Oh.
The Sizzler. We got beers with him at what's that place near Libs? Your favorite spot? Looney's. Yeah, I think Spenny. Yeah.
Any finishing thoughts here, fellas? We've been going 37 minutes. Crazy game. Streak, 103 consecutive series. The Orioles have not been swept. The Orioles are sitting atop the AL here, and we'll be welcoming the Arizona Diamondbacks to town this weekend for a 3-game series here. The Orioles 24-12, 12-7 at home, 12-5 on the road, 7-3 over their last 10. Yankees have been white hot too, doing dirty things. Stanton hit a ball 120 miles an hour today almost, and the Orioles are just trucking right along with their tiny little payroll. Let's see. Look around the AL East. Red Sox 19-18, 19-19 for the Rays, 17-20 for the Blue Jays. Diamondbacks coming to town.
I will say the vibes were kind of not great going into that Yankee series, and they take 3 out of 4. I mean, it can turn on a dime. Like the Orioles just know how to win. So I think it's going to be a good race, but
they're unbelievable in these rubber games, and to see close out whatever it is. Like they blew up on the Yankees. They've blown up so many times on the final game of the series here, the rubber match. So longest homestand of the year here. Sterling Rapicelli says, good point. Weather's getting good too. I didn't think about that.
You got to get out, but like you said, vibes going into that New York series were weird. Like you said, end up taking 3 or 4 like they did. And then again, it's like we forget that they went to Cincinnati and just swept them. Like that was 3 days ago. Yeah. And it was like, and like in a laugh or two in the last day, and we're like, all right, we got it now. We're getting ready to cruise from here. And again, like I even said it, like, oh, you're going into Washington with Burns and Bradish going, like, yeah, that's a sweep. Like that 100% should be a sweep. So again, it's like,
what did you do for this one? Was it? Forgive me.
1 out of 2.
1 out of 2. Okay.
Yeah. I had to.
I don't know the protocol on that. Yeah.
But again,
it was 2 RDT. That's what they call him.
Yep, that's what they say. But again, it was. I mean, we hung our heads bad after that loss last night. It feels like there was a lot of like.
That was not fun to watch.
It was weird. Again, it was maybe the weirdest reaction to a game after sweeping and winning. 6 out of 7, and it's like that loss happened, and it really felt like we got like the wind knocked out of us for some reason. I don't know why.
They've had a couple games this year where the bats just haven't done anything, and like that's a tough pill to swallow because like that's what's going to need to carry them.
Yeah, and it's funny because again, like all the tweets last night, someone was like, Kimbrell's 100% not resigning because they haven't scored runs for him, and I was like, it's like if you look back, they've scored a lot of runs for Burns. Like that's who I said. I meant Burns.
Yeah, it was like wow, wow, what a loss.
They've scored like a lot of runs except for the last 3 games. Like it's been 4 or 5 games.
I kind of like this from the entertainment, like fan value. I like that Burns isn't getting run support. I can't quite put my finger on it.
It's like a storyline.
Yeah, it's a nice little storyline to follow. And it's like, oh, I guess the Orioles aren't going to score tonight, and that'll all get going.
The Mets fans did it with Jacob deGrom for years. Like, oh, here we go. Like deGrom starting,
100%. So, and it'll make the breakout game when they score 10 and he has 9 strikeouts in July that much sicker.
Fans always do this too. Like they'll find like one or two, starts and where that'll happen. And then they'll kind of build this image in their head and tell this story to themselves where that happens when it probably doesn't as much as they think they do. This was a thing going back to Chris Tillman. I remember people used to do that with him too, when he was the guy, which what a far cry. We're from that now, but yeah.
This game was awesome. This was a freaking fun one. Because the Orioles won. If we came on here, if it went the other way and the Nationals were able to rally in the 12th or the 11th or the 10th, it was going to be brutal.
It was going to be
Craig Kimbrell pitchfork fest, which rightfully so. I mean, rightfully so. So many big moments throughout this one. Jorge Mateo, Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Santander, Kyle Bradish's aces, Jordan Westberg quietly just doing his gunner adjacent thing too here, where he's just fucking charging around the bases in that exact same intensity. Them on the left side is so fun. I'm going to knock on lots of wood. I don't think I've seen a ball get between them in a while over on the left side. I don't think I've seen a ball get through there in a long time. There will be a ball that one of them like grabs and it's too far of a play and they kind of stop the ball. But there has not been a single smoke through there in a long time, it feels like, especially if they're playing kind of neutral and not, modern shifting. So those two are fucking awesome.
You know what's funny, too, is I was thinking the other night during that Reds game when he made that throwing error. It was a great play to get the ball, to field it. And he threw it, and you could just tell it was a short hop. And he missed Mountcastle, and then Jorge ended up getting Jonathan India at second. But I remember being like legitimately shocked, like watching JJ Hardy when he made an error. It was like, oh my God, what is that?
Is he okay?
What's going on? Yeah. And then like I had that same reaction with Westberg, and I realized I was like, he just makes every single play, and every throw is the same, and it's just mechanically so good, and like. He never is caught in like a weird, awkward in between or nothing. It's crazy. Like how good his at bats are is like, that's how the quality of his at bats is like how good he plays defense. It's just
everything he does is high quality.
Yes. There's nothing like average about it at all. It's amazing to watch.
And again, I'm in awe of him coming up last year and just bouncing around. He's playing second. He's playing third. He's playing short. He's pinch hitting. He's coming in as a defensive replacement. Kind of doing that a little bit. I mean, he's like a little secret Booby Miles. Like he'll do whatever. He can do everything. He'll paint the porch, take out the trash, walk the dog, and he can pass.
And
he's been a joy to watch this year. Had 3 plays at the plate low key today too. Like he scored the late run. That one wasn't quite a play at the plate, but like there was a throw. Just a weird game for him, and he's got that grit. The grit and intensity on the left side of that infield is giving me lifeblood as an Orioles fan.
And we do have to talk about, I think, real quick. Hyde finally kind of getting tossed last night with O'Hearn, which again, people and I've a couple times been like, man, I wish Hyde would kind of speak up and like, I wish he would get loud.
He's been pretty low T this year. It feels
very, it's weird. But again, sometimes you need that and your guys need it. And again, he kind of sensed O'Hearn reached a breaking point last night, which I didn't think O'Hearn did anything too bad either. But again, nice to kind of see him get involved. I would like to see it a little more. Again, maybe as we kind of head into like a couple weeks before the All-Star break, and if he really wants to see if he can set the guys off, he wants to snap Gunner and turn him fully psycho. Like I think that could do something. But again, good for O'Hearn for standing up for himself too. I tweeted it last night. Like the players, I don't think can't lay down on these umps. They have to let them know how bad they are every single night. So.
And O'Hearn's explanation was perfect. He was like, I mean, the situation was that he threw a ball that was inside of the next pitch, and then it was called a strike. I mean, it was unbelievable. It's like
he also made the very correct point that he never does that. Like he goes out of his way not to do that. That was like the first time he's ever done it, and gets taught. And it's just it's one of those things. And
like you could tell that he's gotten frustrated a lot. A lot of the guys have. Like, you see it with Gunner a lot. He'll snap his head around, but you can tell he'll say something. But
I feel like, and again, I watch more Orioles than I do any other team, of course, or baseball in general, but they are such a, I don't know, disciplined, developmental team in terms of approach at the plate and taking balls and wanting to extend at bats and see a lot of pitches and draw walks. that, and that's what O'Hearn said. He was like, we're seeing this every day. I see it every day. It feels like the Orioles emphasize it just as much, if not more, than anyone else in baseball. So I agree. I love to see Hyde get thrown out.
When he said we do this for a living and we know what balls and strikes are, that was literally the first time that it like hit me that guys know the strike zone so well. It's incredible. Like they
that's
know
their
like
job. Their job is to know the
Yeah.
fucking strike zone at a base level.
Especially in today's day and age where, again, you can strike out and then go and sit right on the bench and look at the zone and like examine it. You know exactly where it is. Like you could draw it blindfolded probably. So when he said that, it really kind of snapped to me. But also really, I can't, maybe Austin Hayes, but I can't picture any of the Orioles like getting in an umpire's face and like blowing up. I can't even really see Gunnar. Like I don't see Mountie.
Gunnar is a I flip out and lash out on myself. Adley, I'm gonna parlay that into this take. The Orioles are a little too soft for me.
Sometimes
they don't have enough edge at all. They're young. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. And I like the point about Hazy. I feel like Hayes can be kind of a prick in a good in a way that I like. So the Orioles are soft, and I think I'm gonna lay down a very blanket statement that is very surface level, but they're not going to win a World Series being the goofy, silly team. They need a little bit more edge than they have, man. I swear they really do.
They need their Anthony Rizzo.
Exactly. You need to have that intensity about you. I feel like you need to be able to get into that man in the arena mindset more.
That was Odor. That was Adam Frazier last year talking shit to Alek Manoah. That was him kind of, he kind of had that role. And yeah, you're right. I mean, I do think it would be Hayes, but again, like I can't picture Tony getting mad. Cedric's been tossed a couple times, but they've never really been his fault.
Cedric's kind of like a walk away with this kind of look on his face. He'll be like, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
I think he did get tossed last year, something like that. I remember, I think being like, and someone being like, "It's like Nick Markakis. Like if he says it's a ball, it's a ball." Like. But I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Like Steve doesn't seem like it at all. I don't know.
I see Malachi Moore eject Cedric Mullins and Brandon Hyde following a strikeout by A's pitcher Zach Johnson. 4/10/2023, early on.
23, yeah.
Early last year against the A's, he was ejected.
Yeah. But again, like he's never like, you don't see them pissed. Like, I don't know. It's weird. So I can't really picture anyone except
to go through some weird little losing streak at some point and start to get a little twisted in the head. And I think Westberg.
No, Westberg's too like goody boy, like church boy, goody two shoes, I think.
I don't know, man. I was watching it. This is like a very minute example, or like maybe I can't think of the right words, niche, but I was watching the game like a week ago, and someone got a hit or something, and Westberg was just standing at the rail going like this. Like just shaking his head real weird. And I was like, you're a little unhinged, aren't you, Westberg? I think he's a little more unhinged than he leads on.
You know who it should be? It should be, I think little Jackie should come up and be that guy. Just be an absolute little pest. Just running around.
He should be a Nepo baby. Just
scrappy dude.
He would be Chucky running around. Like,
let me at him. Yeah, just swiping his little paws at the umpire. It's just, I'd like to see that from little Jackie. Give yourself some utility out there.
I remember, didn't like Matt Holliday didn't he have like some crazy on base streak that he broke by getting ejected? Didn't he have like a 40 or like 55 game?
He gives me unhinged vibes. Like in some of the interviews I hear with him.
I'm going to look this one up. I'm going to use the Google machine here. I feel like he was a lunatic. I feel like he used to get ejected all the time. June 2nd, 2015, Matt Holliday's 45 game on base streak ends with an ejection over a third call strike. Yeah, he got ejected and it ended like I think a franchise record. Joe West threw him out.
Hell yeah. We need more Joe West too. We need somebody who's like a real character back there that's going to fight back and kind of just stir the pot up a little bit. Like if you're going to be a bad umpire, be a character.
CB Buckner, Angel, who's the guy that tossed out Boone for my guy Booney for not saying anything?
I mean, that was
Ken Hitchcock. Is that a guy?
Yeah, but like Cowboy Joe West, he had like the country album and he was like wearing the armband to protest an umpire abuse. Like we need more like we need more sanctimony
awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a guy. He was a character. He was on Twitter like for a little bit.
Was he?
Yeah. Yeah.
He had to promote the country album, so he had to start it. God, I'm sure John Angelos is bankrolling him a new album soon.
You know, John Angelos' bio still says like CEO, Baltimore Orioles.
Why does that shot not shock me that his communications team isn't dialed all the way in?
He'll probably never use Twitter again.
He probably never should have in the first place, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
What do you think,
I
Johnny?
still can't believe Mountie did what he did to Hunter Harvey. That was unbelievable.
I can. Again, they're literally sitting together right now. I could only imagine how awkward that is. But that must be the coolest thing in the world to be like.
Hunter Harvey's he's like the meme of the kid in the room with all the shit and trash in it. And he's like, yo, that didn't even have that good of an exit velo, bro. Like,
oh man, need more umps with nicknames. I have plenty of nicknames for the umps that again I will not put publicly on record. But
yeah.
Yeah, again, I don't know. Such a weird series. Just I'm so glad over. I like sweat those out. Like I can't. Yeah, it sucked, but hopefully this weekend should be fun. Again, I'll be there Friday. So can't wait to see. Rubenstein has to go in the suit, right?
Yeah,
he has to.
Yeah.
I
hope it's 90 degrees.
Might be a little warm for that.
I hope it's 90 degrees and humid and he wears the suit and he's just a disheveled mess by like the 9th. Like that would be great.
I'm gonna tweet this out, but what would be funny, him just in a straight up bathing suit or him in the suit, like a full suit? What would be funnier? I mean,
he's an old man. If he's an older guy, I don't want him to expose his skin too much. Let's keep Uncle Dave from the dangers of the sun.
I'm looking at the old weather report here, and it looks like there might be a little bit more than a splash zone for Friday. I'm seeing high of 59 degrees, 80% chance of rain with a half an inch between 4 and 8 p.m.
Welcome to Baltimore on the weekend.
See, so how funny would that be if he was just in his bathing suit for that?
That would be outstanding.
It would be very funny. I have to tweet this poll out.
Okay.
Anything else, fellas? Any final thoughts here? Diamondbacks coming to town. Orioles keep the streak alive.
I think it's Kramer versus. I think Spenny, you may see Kramer versus Gallen on Mother's Day. That should be a fun matchup. Speaking of, I got to see if we can get Gallen to Jimmy's. He's a UNC guy.
Gallen's got a little lettuce, doesn't he?
Yeah, he could be an Oriole with that lettuce. Yeah,
that's a good lettuce.
I would love that.
That's a lettuce duel right there. Him and Mean Dean.
Some good. Oh, could you say like the battle of the Ched, the battle of the? I don't know.
Dean doesn't even have cheddar though. He's got legitimate just locks.
He has great hair. Did you see the clip the other day? I think where were they? Was it the LA series? No, it was more recent when they showed Gunnar going through like his pregame like high fives and stuff, and Kramer had his hair down over like this, and Gunner's like handshake to him. He just walked up to him, takes his hair and like flips it back over his head. It was fantastic. I'm shocked it wasn't like memed. It was incredible. I gotta figure out what game that was. I gotta ask Melanie. She was like, I think she was on it for it.
You should meme that.
It would be good. It'd be a great GIF. It would be a fun GIF.
Yeah, I can make the GIF for you.
I'm not.
The craziest part about the Mountie home runs was that the first one off Harvey was to tie the game at 3, and then the second one is to take the lead. Like it wasn't. It wasn't. It was the 5th inning. The Nationals were up 3-2, and Mountcastle went yard on the first one, and then this one obviously to take the lead in extras. So they weren't even like meaningless-ish home runs or like made it 4-1 or 5-2 or something. Like big time home runs for his
massive. Boy. Just again solidly playing, just great all year. So I'm very happy for him.
Love it. Florida, man. Is that a show, fellas?
I think that's a show. I think I'm all taked out.
Take us out of here then.
Thank you all for listening to this series recap. A little short 2-game series here, quick turnaround, but that's how you like it sometimes. Like to keep that flow going, just like the Orioles kept the flow going with the series split. Keep the streak alive. Keep the streak alive. Heading into the weekend with a series against the Diamondbacks, like you guys mentioned, we'll be breaking that one down on Sunday as well. So be sure to tune in and enjoy. In the meantime, like Spenny has been proselytizing about, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, give us a nice like, comment, pump that algorithm on all our videos. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff as well. Subscribe there if that is your platform of choice. You can find us on social media at Exit 52 Podcast across the board. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I am at Jake Louque. That's Louque. QUE. Spencer is at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4. In the middle, Eric is at EDITTI22. You can also find Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10 and Brian at Barstool Banks. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys very, very soon.
See ya.
Arrivederci.